Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Homebrew Buffoonery. Okay, so today I'm doing a beer that what I did was I put my ingredients up on a forum and says, what beer would you brew with all this stuff? So I've got some 2-row and some Pilsner and some Vienna Crystal 250-ish and some pale chocolate malt. And then I've got loads of different types of fuels, 5 or 6 different types of hops, New World and Old World, and but I've only got US-05 and M84 yeast. So I asked, what would you come up with? And I only got 2 responses. One of them was a Munich Dunkel, which I'm going to have a look at and maybe do for the next brew. But the one that caught my eye was the Californication. So that's what I'm up to today. That's 19B in the BJCP guidelines. And apparently, the history of it is that it was brewed during the gold rush in big open vats in San Francisco area. And it says here they were traditionally used to compensate for the absence of refrigeration and to take advantage of the cool ambient temperature in the Bay Area. Fermented with a lager yeast, but one that was selected to ferment relatively clean beer at warmer temperatures. Now I've looked on a Brew Your Own website and they have a thing about Californication there, and they said that you could use a German lager yeast. So I've got M84, so that's what I'm going to use today. The recipe for today is, I'm still on my one pot, is a kilo of Maris Otter, 200 grams of Vienna malt, which is something that they said you could put in just to give it a bit of richness, and then something to colour it, and they said you could use crystal, up to 10% of crystal malt of some sort, but I've got some pale chocolate malt and said, you can use a tiny little bit of that, so I've got 50 grams of pale chocolate malt. And the hops he said to use were Northern Brewer. Well, I haven't got any Northern Brewer hops and I've never actually used any, so it might be something to do for the future. What I do have though is some Old World hops. I've got some Tettnanger and I've got some Hallertau, so I'm going to use 15 grams of Tettnanger at 45 minutes in the boil, and that's it, because the BJCP guidelines say that it's not a very hop forward beer and that it should be quite malty. I've put all my numbers into Brewer's Friend, and the recipe comes up with numbers of OG of 1051 with an FG of 1010. This is for my small batch. 5.35% ABV, 35 IBUs and 13 colours. The only issue I have is with the final gravity, and it says it needs to be between 1011 and 1014, or mine's 1010, so well, I won't hit any of those targets, so it doesn't really matter. But I've done something like this with a Belgian Pale Ale, which did really well at the BrewCon competition at 34 and 35 for that, so I'm quite pleased with that. So this should be pretty similar. We're just about coming up to temperature now, so we can start mashing in and get on with the brew day. Okay, mashing in. Okay, so that's us mashed in. I started at 69 degrees, and because I've got my little burner on, I've put all my grains in, and it's only gone down to 67. So I'm just going to turn the heat down a little bit, and I'm going to start my recirculation by turning my doodah what's it round, and I'm going to open that, and I'm going to close that midges. And we're going to go 3, 2, 1. Why isn't it working? We don't plug it in, that's why. Okay. Okie dokie, there we are. 67-ish, just under 67 degrees. I've turned my heat off now, wait for it to get to 66, and give it an hour to mash through. Okay, so we're at the end of the boil now, and unfortunately it's been at 67 degrees all the way through, and so what I did is I changed the temperature in the Brewer's Friend, and everything was ticked. So just raising the temperature, shut up Cap, just raising the temperature lifted the final gravity bang on into style. So all I'm going to do now is turn the pump off and lift the grains out and let them drain for 10 minutes.
Okay, so we've come out into the garden of that brewery because I'm just waiting for my stuff to boil, my work to boil. So what I've done is we have green bins here, and we put all our garden waste in them, but they don't collect it over Christmas between sort of November and February. So a bit of a stuck for bobbins what to do with my spent grains. So what I've been doing is putting them into my little sort of trough. I call it the trough. But as you can see, it's all gone a little bit mouldy. So I'm not sure that's a bad thing though. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to incorporate every batch into here, and hopefully come the summer I'll get some really, really nice veggies out of this. Usually do tomatoes and peppers in here, but you know, if you let me know in the comments what you do with your spent grains other than put them in the bin, that'd be awesome.
Okay, so we've had a bit of a drain for 10 minutes and we've put the wort into the greenhouse, as you can see, and God knows what kind of disease I'll get off all those fungal spores, but there you go. So we're on to a good rolling boil now. There's my 10 grams of Tetnanga, which is replacing Northern Brewer hops, and I've lost my hop bag, so it's just dump it here. 45 minutes, 30 minutes in I'm going to put some whirlflock in, and then we're going to cool down.
Okay, so whilst we're just waiting for the boil to progress, we're about 15 minutes in. I thought I'd give you a look under the stairs in that there brewery and show you what we've got ready for the new year, what's planned for the new year, because today is December 31st, 2018, and we've got plenty on the go, so let's have a look. Okay, so what we have here is 2 demijohns of Twinkle's Audition, and you can see this one here is super clear. That's the clearest I've ever had a beer, and this one here is not quite as clear, but they're reasonably clear, and you can see in the top that is all the protein and all the coagulated rubbish that the whirlflock does. So that's meant to be ready today. It says 30th, meant to be ready yesterday to sort of put in as secondary and clean up, but it's still going. So I'm going to leave it another week because it's been on the floor where it's been 10 or 12 degrees, and I'm just warming it up now to see if I can get a bit more out of it. And the other things we've got going, that's a supermarket bought cider that they sell in a bar close by, and I saw that in the supermarket. I thought, well, I like that cider, but I also like the 2 litre demijohn, which is made out of glass, which is great, so I bought that. And then for New Year, here is some Apples Away cider, which is the supermarket cider, and I think that's episode 7. You can have a look at see there. There's my Odinson Stout, which is still gurgling away. That's meant to be racked today, so it must be just a bit cooler in here because that's still going, and that's using USO 5 rather than the Gervin, so I'm expecting a bit more alcohol out of it. And then this is the raw ale, which is, I think, a byproduct of the Twinkle's Audition there, and I'm not really fussed about that one, but I might fine it with gelatin and see what happens. But it is meant to be hazy, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. I'm going to give it another couple of days, and then I'm going to bottle it and leave it for 3 or 4 weeks and see what happens. But that's everything in that there brewery. I've got some demijohns down there, and there's my guitar case, and some boxes with bottles in and stuff, and I've got like 3 or 4 things on the go there. It's good.
Okay, 15 minutes left. There's me bit of an end of a teaspoon of whirlflock and some on the floor, but that should be enough. So that goes in. A bit of a stir, fizzes away, and 15 minutes and we're going to start cooling it down. Okay, so that's the 45-minute boil up. Just over 5 litres, about 5.5 litres left. So that's good for me because I'm going to get a full demijohn again. I'm just put it into sink now, and I'm already down to 75 degrees. It's been less than a minute. There is a lot of rubbish in the wort, so I'm going to give it a whirlpool and let it stand for half an hour when it's down to pitching temperature, and then we'll hope to take a reading and we'll get close to the 1051 that we want. So I think it'll take 5-6 minutes to get this cooled down, and we'll be back with the whirlpool action. Okay, so we're at pitching temperature now. I've just taken a quick gravity reading and we're about 1050-ish. There's a lot of particles in the wort there, so what I'm going to do is going to whirlpool this now and then take a gravity reading with some cleaner wort, and hopefully I'll get a better reading. But it's, it took me 6 minutes to cool it down to 20 degrees. I'm going to ferment it warm with the M84, so sort of 18ish. And it's been spinning all the time, so it's already been whirlpooled, but I'm going to give it another quick go, get a vortex going, and then I'm going to leave it for half an hour and come back and take the gravity reading. So start with big circles, get it moving, get the whole thing moving, big circles, and then gradually make your circles smaller and smaller and smaller, and you can almost see the bottom of the pan. Big circles into little circles. And then all we need to do is leave it for half an hour. Okay, so I've just taken a gravity reading and we're at 10:46, but I won't show you the gravity reading because you don't want to see that. But what I do want to show you is the difference the whirlpooling makes, and that is how lovely and clear the wort gets when you whirlpool and just skim off the top. So it's well worth the 30 seconds of spinning and 30 minutes of waiting. So I'm currently, the gravity is actually 10:46, maybe 10:47. There's a couple of bubbles in there I couldn't properly see, but that's not too bad. I will say it's lovely and clean, lovely and clear. But all I need to do now is get it wrapped into the demijohn and pitch some yeast. Now there it is. It is lovely and clean. I'm very happy with that actually. There's a little bit of stuff from the bottom of the pan in it, but otherwise that's very good. And what I will say is the style guidelines, it's 19B. The main category is American brown ales, and that is definitely brown. So I've got some good hopes for this. So what I'll quickly do before I pitch the yeast is I'll show you what's in the bottom of the pan. Right, so as you can see there is quite a lot of particles, and there's the hops down there as well. But that's all come out because of the whirlpool and because of physics. So long live physics, long live the Homebrew. And I'm quite happy with what I've got out of it there. Okay, so all we're left to do now is pitch the old Mangrove Jack M84 and then stick her into that stairs in that there brewery. I'm not putting her on the floor of that there brewery under the stairs. I'm going to leave her high up so she can ferment at a sort of 17 or 18 degrees. I'm thinking of a name for this just whilst I'm shaking her, and it's a California Common this is supposed to be, so I think what I'm going to call it is Twinkle's Lancastrian Peasant. That's what it is. So there we go, a little shout out to our American friends. I'm not Californian, but I am common. Solid Lancastrian me, up the red rose. So that's the brew day over. So you can leave comments on what you've seen today. Do you think it's in style or not? I don't know, possibly. Smells normal. And you can like and you can subscribe and go out and brew something brown.